Yo, what's going on guys? It's Ryan again, and today we're working on a pair of fire red 4s. These shoes are 12 years old now, and they've definitely seen some better days. So let's try our best and see if they're actually savable. Check out how long these laces are. They're frayed on the end, so I'm just gonna cut them off and replace them later on. The netting is turning orange. We'll deal with this later on. For now, let's take out these insoles and see what's going on inside. Using a scissor, I can loosen out any of the dirt in the corners. Then we can tap it out. The first main step is inserting our shoe trees. This is going to help give them their shape back. And then we can give them a light cleaning. The soles are stained brown. We'll have to use our indoor unit later on. I put everything inside our sneaker laundry bags, and they're going on a cold cycle for 15 to 30 minutes. After they dry, we can tackle the creases. We can stuff the toe boxes, place a wet rag over the surface, and gently iron it back and forth. I'm trying not to overdo this because I don't want to cause any more separation. Ankle creases are usually permanent, but it's still worth a try. Because these midsoles are on the older side, acetone will damage them. I prefer to use a paint stripper like Dad's Easy Spray. Apply it on, wait for a few minutes to let it work in, and then wipe it off. For the 2020 pair, you don't need a paint stripper. You can just use acetone, but always test it out first. Then to clean the remainder, I'm using rubbing alcohol. I can feel there's some roughness to the midsole, so we can take care of this using Angelus leather filler. It's hard to see where the roughness is, so I'm using my finger to guide me. This needs to cure for a couple of hours. Then we'll come back and sand it down. Now that the midsoles are smooth, we can move on in the restoration. So let's clean the uppers and remove the old factory glue. Now let's reglue them. In order to get some clean lines, I taped up. The glue I'm using is Barge Super Stick. I'm applying 2 coats and peeling off the tape immediately. The glue needs to cure before we can move on. So after an hour, we can heat it up and tack it down. For the best bond, these need to cure overnight. Let's move on to the uppers. I sanded down any scratches and I gave them a few light coats of paint. The same thing for the midsoles. The white paint's fully laid down. We'll need it to dry on its own. Then we'll tape up and repeat the same thing for the black. To take care of any brush marks, we can lightly sand the surface. Let's peel off the tape and see how we did. There's some small areas we gotta fix, but for the most part it came out pretty good. For the netting, I'm trying out this white Sharpie. I turned the brightness down, and you can see it's pretty easy to go on. After this is done, I'll take them outside and spray them with 2 to 3 coats of Krylon matte finish. This is my first time trying this, and it seems to hold on well. I won't be swapping these tabs out because it's almost impossible to find cheap donors in this colorway. And plus, because of how old these shoes are, eventually these other parts will break down. So, we'll just stay with a simple restoration. To reduce the yellowing, I'm using Salon Care 40 and Saran Wrap. These are going to go inside the indoor unit. If you want to see how to make one of these units, I'll add a link above. To remove the lint on the insides, I'm using a fabric shaver. To make the shoes look more factory, we gotta poke out the thread holes. And I polished them with some tire shine. Finally, we can lace them up. Real quick, I gotta shout out my beginner's guide to restoration. It's a compilation of hundreds of restorations worth of knowledge in just over 20 pages. If you guys are interested, feel free to check out the link below. So that's the end of this restoration. Thank you for your support. Let me know what you think down below, and I'll catch you in the next one.